The number one thing that keeps people stuck in fitness, health, and life on the whole is believing things that aren't true. You see, what we have, the results we have, flow from what we do. So if you want to have better results, you need to do better. But that's where people focus. How can I do better? How can I program myself like I'm a robot? That works for a period of time, but that's not where true, lasting lifestyle change comes from. Because what you do flows from what you believe. What you believe to be true about yourself, your circumstances, and what is true in life in terms of how life works. So if you want better results in life, yes, you're going to have to change your actions, but that's by focusing on changing the actions alone, you're not going to create change. And that's what most fitness programs do. That's what a lot of programs in life, anything that promises you change focuses on actions. Many of the things that promise change focus on actions. But what you need to focus on is belief, and believing what's true. So you can say that you believe something, but if what you're doing doesn't align with what you believe, then you don't actually believe that thing. You show me what somebody does, you show me their behaviors, and that indicates what they believe. So, if you want to get in better shape, you need to first seek to learn and understand the process, the mechanics behind getting in better shape by understanding strength training, nutrition, walking / cardio. And you understand the concept of accountability, tracking progress, working with a coach even. When you understand how things work and why they work, then it's much easier to adhere to them. And not only do you need to seek to understand the process of getting results, but you have to change your belief about yourself. You need to be careful with the words that you speak over yourself, because most of us walk through life and speak to ourselves in a way that you would never talk to, I hope. You would never speak to a friend like that, and yet you do it to yourself all the time. And you hear yourself more than you hear anyone else. Your words hit different. So when you say, I'm fat, I am out of shape, I am overweight, and it depends on how you're saying it, but when you're saying it as an identity statement, because it's one thing to say, yeah, I'm carrying around some extra fat that I want to lose, versus I'm fat, I've always been fat. That's when you speak about it, and you know what I'm talking about, you know the difference. When you speak about things in the sense that this is who I am, you believe that is your identity. And so when you're believing that your identity is that of somebody who is overweight and out of shape, well, you can try to make a change, but it's like driving with the emergency brake on. Because your subconscious brain is still identifying with the person who is overweight, out of shape, etc. So you have to start changing your identity, how you see yourself. And when you see yourself differently, then it becomes easier to align with, for your actions to align with that. And it becomes more effortless. It's less about trying hard to do things the right way, but instead it's just you are becoming a different person. So, we are human beings, not human doings. We are human beings. So it's important that we understand who we are in our being, and then allow our actions to flow from that. And to take this a step further, I want to talk about scripture. This is something I shared with my team this morning. So, about 18 months ago, I was faced with a difficult situation in the business and trying to decide, do I want to move forward and continue to pursue the big vision, or do I want to play it safe? But the circumstances that I found myself in were one that I was caught between a rock and a hard place when I was going to make that decision. So there wasn't a clear winner. But my vision is to change as many lives as possible. And so when in doubt, I tend to play big. But I was praying about it, asking for wisdom. And you see, I have this belief, because the Bible tells me in James 1:5 that when I ask with faith for wisdom, that God will give it to me. And so I prayed and I asked for wisdom, which I've done with every single major decision in my life. And without fail, God has given me the wisdom that I've needed to make the right choice. And I kept hearing, as I was praying for wisdom, I kept hearing about the story of Caleb and Joshua. And, Israel had been in the desert, and they had the promised land that they were going to spy out. And so Moses sends Caleb and Joshua and 10 other men to go spy out the land. And when they get there, they see that the land is good. The food is good. There's honey there. It looks like a great place. But there are giants in the land. And the 10 men, who were not Caleb and Joshua, were looking with their physical eyes. Caleb and Joshua were seeing things through their spiritual eyes, seeing things through the lens of faith, what God had told them. And they come back, and the men report that, the land is good, but there's a lot of giants, and we're going to get killed. And they reported on things that they saw. So it's not like they were making stuff up. But Caleb and Joshua were like, no. If the Lord delights in us, he's going to give us the land. If what he says is true, and we're going to put our faith in that and his word and what he's told us, that we are his chosen people, and we're going to move forward with faith and boldness and confidence, and he's going to deliver us. He's going to deliver the giants into our hands. Not because we're special, but because that's what God said is true. And the crazy thing about that is what the 10 men reported. That's where most of us, we live our life looking through just what's in front of us, not operating by faith or by what's ultimately true. And those are the things that God tells us are true. And so in that passage, after all of that, the reports come back. God says to Moses, when are these people going to believe me? Why don't they believe me? After all that I've done, after all that I've showed them. The Lord was upset that they didn't believe what he said was true. And so I think the other thing is salvation is a free gift that we receive, not by doing anything. We don't earn it through our actions, but just by believing. Believing what is true. And so the most dangerous thing in life is you going through life, and this is true in any area of your life. Fitness, health, business, relationships, marriage, kids, whatever. Your relationship with God. The most dangerous thing you can do is go through life believing something that is not true. Because when you believe what's not true, your actions align with that, and you will produce results that you don't want. So if you want better results, you've got to do better. But this is not a rah, you need to go do better and try better. No. You need to seek the truth. You need to discover what is true in the area that you're wanting to succeed in. And then allow the truth to marinate in your mind and change your mind. Because when you change your mind, you change your heart, you change then your actions, and then the results will follow.